Great! Episode 5. How do you feel?
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe we're already on episode 5.
I feel like we start every episode with me asking you the same thing, but I feel like every episode goes on, and we're much more excited and just ready to be close to episode 100 and have our big celebration and, a big party thanking all our followers.
I know. Yeah. It's been so much fun kind of sharing stories and getting to know each other better. But
Yeah,
that's
it
been
has.
really, really fun and rewarding.
I've been having a blast just, with the whole logistics and the process of, just creating a podcast and doing it together with someone who you get along with so great. Because I think that people don't really talk about that a lot, right? You see podcasts on YouTube, or you see, music videos and people writing music, but it seems like a lot of times everyone sees that final product and not so much the behind the scenes or the logistics and how much goes into doing it. So maybe we should even have an episode about that one day, about what it's like to make the podcast happen and how much fun it is and all the things we put into it. But yeah, just
you'd like that, tell us in the comments. That's
yes,
the best
please.
way. Yeah.
That's the best thing. We want you guys to communicate with us. So please comment. And we do a really good job and try to do a really good job, I should say, of staying in touch with all of you. So let us know what you guys think. But yeah, going back to what we were talking about, I love being able to just, make this happen and having this, putting it into our schedule and thinking about it, and keeps us creative.
Yeah. And like you said, working with someone that you just enjoy so much.
Yeah, I love you.
It's been so rewarding. I love you. You know what's happening today?
Oh, I know what's happening today. Let them know. Just let them drop it on them.
Okay, this is what's happening today. We are having our first guest, which I'm so excited about. And this is someone Leah and I are really good friends with. He attended musical theater conservatory with us in New York City, and he has a list of credits too long to remember. But just to let you know, he was snatched from us before graduation at AMDA because he was cast in Aida. So straight out the gate, he started booking.
So awesome.
He's a great manager. He sent me out on great auditions that I booked. He has an eye for talent, hidden talent there. He was on a Disney cruise. I visited him on a Disney cruise line, the Disney Wonder, where they had the first production of Toy Story the musical. He's been in Rant, Smokey Joe's. He was a backup dancer and singer for BB Zahara Benet. He was in the national tour for Legally Blonde. He played Donkey in the national tour of Shrek.
Yay!
He's in a hilarious and really, really cleverly written and casted web series, The Queen's Project. You have to check that out. But this year, he made his Broadway debut in Diana the Musical. So proud moms. And he's going to be on the original Broadway cast recording of that. I'm so excited to welcome our good friend Andre Jordan. Andre! Oh my God!
Hello! Our first guest! Yay!
How's it feel to be our first guest, Andre Jordan?
It was incredible. I'm just now noticing in this recording of this, I'm using my boyfriend's computer. So the Zoom says Johnny Hendrickson as the name. I don't know if that's gonna show up on the recording, but if that does, that's not me. That is my boyfriend.
You should have just said that was like your alter ego or something.
I'm doing so well. I'm in New York City. Alive. I'm breathing. I'm healthy.
Yay.
I'm sanitized. I'm mask wear. It's great. I'm doing everything I need to be doing.
That's
awesome. My God. Well, we're so happy to have you on here. And we have so much to talk about just from hearing, it's been so many years, but just from hearing your all of your accomplishments since AMDA It's incredible. So why don't you like take us down that list, or maybe just point out all your favorite experiences from what you've done since we graduated AMDA.
Sure. First of all, it's so good to see you, Leah.
Yes.
Period. I just like I haven't been able to like touch base with you.
I
Really.
miss you. I can't wait to actually give you a hug.
I know. So like Rachel said, right, during our final semesters at AMDA, I was auditioning, and then I had booked Aida at the Media Theater, which is in Media, Pennsylvania. And that was like, I left school for that, and then I came back to the city and then just started doing like the audition grind, like fully working jobs and making sure I was getting up and going, early to make it to those different things.
Oh yeah.
And looking back on it now, like I've been very blessed to like I've worked every year since AMDA, like in some performance contract capacity. Like I've had some type of thing going on in entertainment, and I think that was really because like in the beginning I really focused on not putting myself into one place, just like doing anything, you know what I mean? And back in the days of Craigslist where you could, look up random like readings or concerts or extra work of things, people doing like their own stuff, like that just got me around to try new things and to meet people.
And to meet a lot of people, right? You were building that you were putting yourself out there and making those connections, which is so important.
It's incredibly important because you really never know, who you'll meet, whether it's like a business or just like a great friendship that comes out of something like that.
Exactly.
And then, I worked on Disney Cruise Line.
Which you and I did together. I didn't even know. Like, you were on the Wonder and I was on the Magic.
I remember when you did that. I remember you leaving for that. That was major because we all went to that audition, like for.
Yes, we were there together.
Yes, and you just like click, got it, and it was great because like that was so perfect.
My God.
Really.
That was so crazy. Oh my God, I don't even remember how that audition went because that all happened so fast that I have no recollection of that.
Yes.
But yes, I do remember all of us being there together though.
Correct. And then when I did a Hong Kong Disney, I went over to Hong Kong for months, and I did Festival of Lion King there, and then I came back and I did Rent, and then after Rent, I booked the Legally Blonde national tour, and that's when things just started to like really snowball and go in the direction that I always wanted them to go. So it was like Legally Blonde, and then as soon as Legally Blonde was finished, 2 weeks later, I started auditioning for the Shrek tour, and then I booked that. That was the next year after that, and then like got an agent from that, and then started booking equity, and then got equity work, and then started working at all the big regional houses, and eventually getting to a place where like my resume was pretty nicely filled out by regional work all across the country. But to actually get into like the rooms of Broadway spaces, to get into those places to get seen was also like another feat in and of itself.
So
but then
why
once
don't you
I started to get
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I kind of want to hear a little bit about that. And I'm sure that our listeners, especially those that are in the entertainment industry, what is it like, Andre, based on your experience to get into those rooms for Broadway auditions? And do you think that it's necessary and important to have that regional background like you did? Do you think is that going to make or break you, or is that going to help get you in the room? Or if you're the right fit for the role, do you think you still have a chance to get into the room? What do you think?
I think everyone's journey to Broadway, I've noticed, can be completely different.
Yeah.
I've had friends that have left the business, started doing something else, and that something else brought them right back to Broadway without even thinking about it or putting those two things together. So I think that any way that you can equip yourself more to be ready. I mean, for me, it was all about making the connections, because honestly the people that do these regional shows and these regional houses, they bring them in from New York. So these directors, when they're not doing these Broadway things, are have their hands in other things across the country. When it came to getting me in the room for those things really specifically, that really had a lot more to do with, my resume helped, but also I had someone there really speaking for me. I had an agent, that could represent me. But even that, and I don't know if this is, we can talk about this more later, but the ideas of what, in casting, what you can or can't do based on like what people are looking for versus like, what's the way I'm trying to explain this? Getting into the room thinking, I can be in this show, but someone's saying, well, this isn't a person of color role, or like those types of microaggression things that are also going on in the community. So
Of
those
course.
are also things that maybe have stopped, I'm sure have stopped me and other people from getting
Of
there.
course. Yeah. And it goes back to that, you know, are you the right fit for whatever role is available or they're currently casting? Like so many things fall into play.
Exactly. And so
And
much of
not
it,
just,
I'm sorry, most, a lot of it really is to right place, right time, you know? There
Exactly.
are plenty of things where, you know, I was away and I was gone and I couldn't be there in the room when you know, that it just didn't work out time-wise.
Exactly. It's so crazy. And it's not just Broadway in my experience. I feel like anything, even in the music industry, if you're auditioning for a TV show or whatever it is, it's just that. So many things fall into play. You know, are you the right fit? Are you just like all the other girls that already went into the room and sound like you? Because if they already have one that sounds like you, they're not going to book you. You know, they want somebody different. So again, and then what plays into that? Right place, right time. So it's so many things. That's the crazy thing about entertainment, right? That people don't, you know, folks who aren't in it don't get it. It's like, it's so many little things that have to be perfect and aligned for you to book it, you know? But sometimes it's super easy and sometimes it's not, but
Exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
All right. I mean, I think it's so awesome that, you know, you finally are on Broadway and
15 years.
Oh my God.
This is a long
So
time.
tell us about that audition. What was that like? Was it an easy one? Did it kind of all just fall into place? Or did you feel that it was a little bit of a struggle to land the role?
So I had actually was just doing Shrek at the Sacramento Music Circus like a month before the auditions for Diana were happening. And I remember having a conversation with a very good friend of mine who was in the Legally Blonde tour with me as well, but she was doing another show there. And we were just talking about going back into this audition time with just like different tactics and like trying new things and stepping in different places and like just like I'm here, I show up and here's who I am. So those first auditions back, Diana just so happened to have been one of them, was really where I was just like trying new things in the room and trying to, you know, change how, just really try to be more, I say change, but be more of myself in the space and sing songs that bring me joy and that I connect to and that I know are great for me and that I'm, you know, that I've chosen, that I feel good about, you know what I mean? Because so long after AMDI, I just had this book that was just given, things that were given to me that I liked fine and then, you know, whatever. So that process, once that started, my very, very first audition for Diana, very first audition day, I went into just a regular chorus call, just like they have to have them. It was for a workshop. So they were doing a developmental workshop in between.
Okay.
They had just finished their production in California, but they weren't on Broadway yet. They were asking to do a workshop, which if no one knows what a workshop is, it's when you get the music and the team together and all the writers, and you can kind of like, you know, work and rehearse things without the pressure of getting it up on and ready, you know?
Exactly. More laid back.
Yes. So my very, very first audition for Diana, I was singing Santa Fe from Newsies, which was like my new audition song. And I went and I sang it, and I rarely ever crack at auditions, but I did. It happened. Like I just went to sing something, cracked, went through it, finished it, it was fine. Didn't really get down on myself because I was like, I know I really did well in that, and then like that's whatever. But like even from that, you know, that could have gone one or two ways, right? I could have gotten down on myself for it and then been surprised when they called me back, or I could have been like, you did great, and then been even more surprised when they called me back, which is like, exactly what happened. And that audition process, maybe like 4 or 5 auditions, and then I did not get cast into that workshop. And then about 2 weeks later, I was called to come back in again because as a replacement, I guess someone that one was going to be in it wasn't. I went through that process that whole day again and got down to the final, and then I didn't get cast again. And then months later, after they announced they were going to Broadway, I went to the chorus call again, because once you've announced it, you have to have auditions again, because now you have this production different. Yep. Have auditions for it. And you know, it had been a while and they had really liked me. I read for a lot of people. It was a really great experience I remember last time. So I was like, well, I'll just go and remind them who I am, whatever. So it's like the 9:30 or 10 o'clock call, and
I love it.
Opened the door to go in to the audition, and the casting director was like, don't worry, you're fine. You're going to be called back in. We're going to be sending you the materials. You do not have to sing anything else again. You're told, because literally by that time I had sung everything, but I hadn't heard anything, you know? So there was this time between the announcement happening and the auditions happening and then my agent reaching out and not hearing. So I was like, well, I got to get in there. So I'm actually really glad I did that day because it just gave me the peace of mind that I needed to know.
Of course.
To know that I was going to be
of course. And that's the thing with auditioning is that you never have peace of mind because you don't you have to go to these auditions and just set it and forget it, you know, and because you'll lose your you'll lose it.
2 months
later. I love that. I love that persistence. That's what it takes, isn't it? That boldness and persistence.
And persistence. And that was also part of the mindset of the new tactics that I was going into these rehearsal rooms with. You know what I mean? Showing up and right in their, you know, interface and getting the information that I want. So then after that, I got some an appointment, and then those calls, there were maybe like 3 or 4 more of those auditions for maybe 5. And then I finally found out that I had gotten it.
Oh my God, how amazing. Yeah. How amazing. So look at this. This is so awesome to hear this story. Like you never know, guys. You never know.
Never know.
You know, it's all about wanting it, being persistent, and being ready. That's it. Yes, you never know.
Show up. And really, I was having this conversation with some middle school kids the other day. And I was like, in anything you want to do in life, just if you love it enough, learn as much as you can about it. Give it all you've got and show up for it. And like, that's all that matters. Everything else will fall in line, no matter what you do or where you put that focus. As long as you show up for it and you've got something to back it up and you're invested in it, you really can't do any wrong, you know?
I think the moral of this section of the podcast is it still is possible to crack at a Broadway audition and make it to Broadway, guys.
Yeah. Dre, was there a moment where you said, I just started showing up in the room differently? Was there a moment or like some sort of, like what shifted that for you where it just, you came alive?
Honestly, it came out of you know, it's easy for me to get sucked into social media and this person's doing this and I'm not there. And that has been a real struggle for me in my career because I started this career and there was no social media and now it's happening and there is. So I've had to kind of adapt to that in the, you know, how I perceive myself and what I put out there. So honestly, it came out of a little bit of jealousy because I was seeing my peers breaking into these spaces and I was happy for them to like get into these shows, but I was also like, it's my time. Like that's literally how I took it. I was like, well, this is ridiculous. Like I've had it. Like I had it. And I was like, I knew something had to change. And I was just ready. It just all time to make the change. But really,
that literally took matters into your own hands.
I mean, that's a brilliant way to handle envy, right?
Yeah, it was.
It for your empowerment.
I love it. I think that
absolutely.
I think that our generation, because we're all relatively, you know, same age group here, but I think that our generation has had to go through so many changes, like as far as like social media and, you know, the cell phones becoming such a big part of our lives. And because of technology evolving so much through our generation, everything's been affected by it. You know, the way that we audition, the way that we find auditions, you know, backstage. I remember having to like run to the corner living in New York and get backstage the paper every time it came out and get my highlighter out of my backpack and sit there and circle and highlight, right? Now you just get that subscription online and everything's on your phone, you know, you're ready to go. It's so crazy, you know, and the way that you submit things now, you know, we had to have our, you know, go to the Dwayne Reed and make sure that you buy the little pack of yellow envelopes so that it fit your resume and all your things in there and you set all, now everything's, you know, put into a Google Drive, you're ready to go.
Yeah, so like adapting to all of that in this has been a chore as well. Like, you know, trying to keep up with everything changing, and that affects everything, you know, younger generations and what's the audience that's coming in for these things. So like, what are the shows we're going to be making? You know what I mean? That's a big trickle down kind of effect of it all. And how we, you know, take in information and things like that. Yeah.
So Andre, you made your Broadway debut. You were still in previews, right?
Correct.
And then COVID hit, right?
Yes.
What was that experience like? Was that disappointing?
Oh man.
It was.
What happened?
So we knew that something was like coming, something was bubbling, brewing. I was in full blown denial. Did not want to accept that it was happening. Bargaining in my mind, like, oh, well, maybe it's some shows, but ours will stay open. Like, what? Like, just ridiculous things that I just didn't want it to be true. Then it got put pause, and the outpour of love that I got from everyone was fantastic. I didn't feel cheated out of anything because like we had a full week of previews. We were in work mode, you know what I mean? And I had definitely had that moment the first night of I've made it here and I've done it, this is what I'm supposed to be. So the mindset after COVID shut us down was that we were still remaining open, we'll still be working. This gives us a chance to take a breath, pull out the songs that we don't think are working, and really restructure some stuff. So like using this to our advantage, you know what I mean?
Of course.
We are grateful that, to an extent, that it happened in previews, because the time to change stuff in previews is this much time. So you do your show at night, right? Let's say you do the show Monday night. Tuesday morning, afternoon from 12 to 5, 12 to 1 is notes about last night. And then you're going to talk about what you're going to restage and retech and relight, and what lines are cut and what lines are new. So everyone gets the same new pages. Sometimes there's whole new scripts, whole new scenes. So then you go into the theater and then you stage them, or you learn a new dance, or you learn the new lyrics, or the one lyric or two lyrics. And then that's the show that you do that night. And then you just do it. And sometimes you flub it up or you don't, but then you learn and then you do it the next day. So it's a very fast process to try to make big, impactful changes. So
in very little time, yeah.
Very little time. And you feel that clock ticking really in previews, because it's like, oh, are we going to open? And then it's Tony season, you really feel that. So having this break has been great for the creative team. We're back in rehearsals right now, currently.
Nice,
Yes, we're back in rehearsals. The week before we started, we'd gotten contact and talked about what we were going to do coming back. And then that first week back was the week, George Floyd was murdered. And then the ripple effects of all of that.
Of everything.
Everything. And then people in the Broadway community started speaking up about things that they've experienced. Cody Renard, who's a Broadway stage manager, everyone coming to light with all of these things. So we, a lot of the Broadway shows, I can't speak for everyone, I haven't spoken to other people in shows. Our show specifically, now we've taken on this initiative of making the changes in our show with our producers, having those hard conversations. Today this was surreal. Today I was on a phone Zoom conversation, myself and the 3 other Black POCs in our cast, my Tony Award-winning director and my Tony Award-winning producer, just us and our stage manager.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Talking about what are we going to do talking about the healing that has to get done within the cast itself and in the show, if there's anything that needs clearing up. Talking about hearing everyone's voices and holding everyone accountable. Talking about policies within the Broadway community, within our little things that we can do to let the audiences coming in know where we stand as a show and as a company, So they're listening to our voices to get the ball rolling on these things. And I've actually been also in touch with other groups of, all the POCs from former shows that I've done, where we've worked in these regional houses in these sometimes very racist states, you know what I mean? Or sometimes even more racist theatrical institutions.
Yeah.
Exposing those people and making sure that never happens to anyone else that works at that theater. So right now, my life work feels like it's always been about the American theater. Like that's where my passion is. That's where I've been destined to be placed.
Of course.
I know now that I had to wait 15 years to be in this space on Broadway, make this impact from inside, like in the room. I couldn't, if I was still in this, same place where I was, would have been fine. I would have still been like fighting for change and making sure I got my way in. Yeah. But I have been offered a privileged place to be in the room where it happens, so to speak. I don't love Hamilton, but that's a line for them. And it's empowering. It's scary. But
there's a reason why at the beginning of this podcast, when I asked you, I can't believe you're finally on Broadway, and you answered me 15 years, right?
Yeah.
But you see, everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why it took 15 years, because now you're here now when you need to be, because of everything that's happening. And it's such a shame that something so horrific, I mean, horrific doesn't even describe what happened to that gentleman, but it sucks that something so horrific had to happen for these conversations like the one that you had today for them to take place. Because in my opinion, those conversations should be happening always.
For sure.
With everyone.
Yeah.
Right? With everyone. Right. Like, we need to make sure that this is a safe place, and that, no one feels any sort of way. And the leaders need to make sure that everyone feels comfortable enough to have those conversations and speak up when you need to speak up, and not afraid to do it.
Exactly.
So, what a blessing that you get to be a part of this, especially now.
Yes.
It's so amazing.
To be able to do this work for the thing I love so much, it's incredible. And like, I don't want, when the show closes, whatever, the work will not stop there.
Oh, of course not.
I encourage everyone to go on Instagram and find the Broadway Advocacy League. I'm pretty sure that's what they're.
Yes, and we'll put it in the info and down below as well, Rachel.
Yeah. They just did a 3-day forum called Broadway for Black Lives Matter, and it was incredible. The first day was a day of healing, so a full theatrical space just for Black people. Just in anything you've done in the theater, you're good. Seamstress, if you're a director, lighting designer, anyone, that was the safe space to be. And then the next days, we just had these great talks with some legends came through. Audrey McDonald came in, Brian Stokes Mitchell, LaShawn spoke on 2 days, Lupita Nyong'o came in, Tanya Pinkins, all of these fantastic people, these elders that are looking to us and saying, we know what you young people are doing. We're so proud of you for doing the work. You have the full support of us behind you. We are here to lift up your voices and to help keep this ball rolling. You know what I mean? And it's
oh my God, I would have melted. Like, I would have been totally like fangirling.
Icons.
I love you. What? Can we go have coffee together?
Oh my goodness. Yes, the Broadway Advocacy Coalition. Yes, BAC. Yes, we'll link all that information in there as well.
How awesome.
It's so cool. And it starts, there's so much work that has to be done. And I know
so much. This is I don't even know if I should even say this is the beginning. I feel like this is we're just getting our tippy toes into the water, exactly. So much. It's gonna be amazing. Incredible.
I don't think we'll forget the year 2020
ever
for a while. And I was like, 2020 vision, right? Clear in the
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
For real.
Oh my gosh. I can't. This is incredible. I mean, I totally wish that we had more time, and we could even possibly do a part 2 if you guys are down for this.
I mean, put it in the comments, and if they want more, I mean, like, I'll do a follow-up, to let you know.
Yeah, we can keep talking about so much more, because I feel like it's not enough time in one episode to really like dig deep and talk about so many other stories, right? Because I really wanted for us to talk about your experience being Rachel's roommate.
Oh my goodness.
All those fun stories.
That is like a 4-part series. That is
I need to hear all those stories. I need to hear all those stories immediately. So even if we don't get those comments down below about part 2,
it's gonna happen.
Hey, it might just happen. I'm putting it out there already.
Yes.
Rach, do you want to go ahead and maybe ask a final question before we start wrapping it up and start prepping about episode 6?
I don't know what to narrow it down to, honestly. There's so much I want to ask you. What's the one thing you didn't expect from the Broadway experience that maybe surprised you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a very good one. I've done a lot of like readings and things and workshops of stuff that like like hoping to get to that place. And then it's like, oh, good, you know, we did this, and there were like 4 producers in the room, and they all loved it. And then I got to the first day of Diana and saw all the producers, and I was like, oh, this is like 20 plus people's money. So my idea of like, I didn't really understand the magnitude of what it took to really, really take that somewhere, and how much, you know, you see a show and you think, oh, it's going to be us and the director and the choreographer, we're going to make this thing happen. It's like, no, they're gonna make a lot of this happen because they're shelling out this money like this, and it's a lot of money, so they have to trust that it'll work. So something I'm starting to put into my conscious is building a space for Black, brown, queer people that is not, you know, yes, we should be trying to infiltrate these institutions, but we should also be building our own. Like, this is the time to cultivate awesome, new, fresh, our spaces. And I've used the word demand a lot recently to people, and when I speak about the changes I want made. And they should be declared as demands to because they're integral, they're necessary changes. You know what I mean? It's right versus wrong. It's love versus hate. So it has to be dire. So yeah, I would say that's the one thing I've learned is that I need to start cultivating more safer spaces for other voices that don't have the money like this, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I mean, oh God, Lord knows that, you know, money plays a big part of the entertainment industry, but, you know, creating those safe spaces just makes it easier for all those people that are affected by it to just be more comfortable and just feel more confident moving forward, I feel like. And on that, to have the voice. Yeah, to have the voice. Sometimes you feel, that's just it. Sometimes you feel like you're there and you're not heard, you know? So at least making it comfortable, making them feel like they do have an opportunity to be heard.
Exactly.
And I guess we can wrap it up with this, like, and I want to ask, like, what, now that you finally, I guess, accomplished one of your goals, because I'm sure you have many, so you can scratch one of your major goals off the list, which is being on Broadway. What advice do you have for those little boys and girls who are, you know, who know deep down in their soul that this is the route they're going to take, which is Broadway, entertainment, theater, music, whatever it might be? Yeah. What advice do you have based on your experience for them to reach those goals?
First of all, don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do it. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. I don't care if that's your mom, your dad, your sister, your pastor. No one can tell you that you cannot do something that you know in your heart you're capable of.
Amen.
Period. Like, there's no way. I know Rachel will agree with, like, you know, I know Rachel's she loves to learn, she loves to take information in, she loves to absorb, and I think that's also that's important to me. I did learn that from Rachel. I wasn't always, you know, I took so much time growing up letting people tell me that I couldn't do something and then not giving the fullness of my attention to it early to really, like, you know.
Yeah.
Those things you always like, oh, I wish I had started ballet when I was 4, and I do wish I had started ballet when I was 4. You know what I mean? Those types of things, like,
me too.
Do the work you want.
I did. It still didn't pan out.
Lisa, you were better than you say you were. You were better. I was screaming that when I was watching the other episode. I was like, Lisa, you are not that bad. You're great.
I love how that has become the underlying tone of this entire podcast. Lisa, can she really dance?
So yeah, I would just say, like, prepare yourself, arm yourself with love and with friends and with knowledge, and, like, do you get out there and make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, find a community that loves and supports you, and get out there and do the damn thing.
I love
Whatever
it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And look at what we've built here, you know, us 3 still friends and motivating ourselves and pushing each other to still follow our dreams. And, you know, and I know that, of course, and I know that tomorrow, you know, I could just pick up the phone and call either one of you, and, you know, I have guidance and advice from not only 2 good friends, but 2 professionals, you know, and that's so important to just surround yourself around those people. And like you said, you can never give up, because life is too short. And that is a message that has been, you know, obviously engraved into our memories forever, especially given everything that's going on right now. Life is just too short, so we have to take advantage. But Andre, I'm so happy that you made it to this podcast. That you were
I've
on
been
here.
your biggest fan. I can't believe I made it on it. So happy.
So I hope episode 2 continues with you. Into episode
Part
6, I
two.
should say. Part 2. Yeah, there you go. Part 2 of this special guest appearance with Andre Jordan. So I hope that all of you have enjoyed your time with us. Rach, anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
I just want to say, like, I think this is like the embodiment of surround yourself with people that want to see you win.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yes.
then when they win, you win. And
Love.
that's the beauty in life, right?
Absolutely. Love. Thank you to you, Andre. I love you so much. And we wish you nothing but the best on Broadway.
Both
So
of you.
proud.
You better
So
believe
proud.
that once COVID-19 starts to, slow its roll, Rachel and I will be there with or without masks on. I don't care what they require me to, even if it's a helmet, we'll be there.
You might have to wear a mask, but come on down to see me at the Longacre Theater, Diana on Broadway. If you're on Instagram, you can find them at Diana on Broadway. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at Manchair5, MANCHAIR5. And,
I love it.
Too.
Well, we're going to put all your info down there, so don't worry. You guys follow Andre, follow his journey, follow Diana the musical, follow the Rant. We will be here. We will be here next week with some more goodies, maybe some more Andre. So we'll see what happens.
So subscribe and click the notification bell if you're on YouTube. Yeah.
All right, guys. Love you all. Love you, Rach.
Love
you,
you.
Andre. Be safe out there.